The Weather Channel is helping you plan for the big events ahead and just more storms lightening up the sky for sure.
What a night yesterday. So much hailstorms. And you can see some of the storms here really building high into the sky. This is a really neat vantage point. This is Florida, and you can see the constant lightning and also just the big plumes of cloud out there.
Exactly. And they had really large hail across Florida as well. And the peninsula, they usually don't get that large of hail across the peninsula.
We'll talk about what happened, also show you where it could happen again today. And then we got to look at the temperature side of the story, because temperatures are changing, cooling down over a lot of the east, but really heating up in the west in spots where, well, we have a little fog this morning. San Francisco. Carl the Fog, here you go. Good morning. But we also have some snowpack that will be melting, and that's also a problem.
Yeah, so kind of getting a switch in the action. You have the ridge now building out west, and that's going to cause a problem for sure.
And it's also that time of year when we head into our gardens in the backyard, and we've got Farmer Froberg on the show today.
That's exciting. So stormy times take root in today's big deal, the state town. Sunshine will fill the sky for much of the day in Orlando, and it's going to be warm. We will see those temperatures in the 80s, but yes, there's a but. You could enjoy this, lots of sunshine, but we do have some thunderstorms that will move in here as we go into the afternoon evening time frame. So this is what you're going to get before it's all said and done, unfortunately. So if you are familiar with Florida, you know you can get those thunderstorms, but yeah, we are going to have rounds of those storms really coming in. So let's start you out in Orlando, where it looks pretty good right now, but as we go throughout the day, we are going to go downhill in the way the thunderstorms. Again, Orlando theme parks, you don't want to see any type of thunderstorms or rain, but that's exactly what you're going to get as the day goes on. Right now, we're dry. Get out there and enjoy yourself. If you have errands to run, anything that you want to do, you're on vacation, now is the time, because we're going to start to see some bigger changes as the day goes on. So we can see right now temperatures in Orlando coming about 75 degrees at this point. West Palm Beach, you're at 80 degrees. Fort Myers, 75. Just gorgeous out there. But this is what we have, just lurking and looming. Plenty of the red. So we can see the potential for some strong and severe thunderstorms from Jacksonville all the way down off towards Fort Pierce. That's one section. And then we head over towards the Panhandle, and we can see this around Pensacola, Tallahassee, Apalachicola. You're all in this for today. So we are talking about damaging gusty wind, but once again, we're also going to be dealing with some hail, an inch, and that's exactly what you need to have a severe thunderstorm, an inch. Yesterday along the peninsula, we were talking about these hailstones a little bit greater than that. Today, they're still going to be dangerous, so you do want to be inside. If you have that garage, park the car in the garage. That's going to be some good news for you, as you don't want any type of damage. This is what it looks like with the timing. So we see around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, showers and thunderstorms moving through Jacksonville, around Tallahassee. And look at this line. This is a serious line really coming through. This is going to really pose a problem back off towards Orlando, Tampa, and it's also going to be coming early in the morning, tomorrow morning. So again, if you have a way to get those alerts, please do so. Now let's head to Texas, where it's been rough there too, Jen.
Oh, yeah. And we're going to see that risk coming again tomorrow, almost to the same areas. Waco, some of the biggest hail in Texas yesterday was a couple miles east of Waco, Texas. And tomorrow we may see that again with the risk of some large hail. Chance of storms that go severe all the way down into South Texas. This is tomorrow, by the way, and you have a threat today, but we're going to bring it back tomorrow for more of Texas, with our next low dropping in, moisture coming back up again. So Dallas, it's a one-day break for you. Waco, it's a one-day break for you. Lots of energy to feed into these storms. The instability will be building through the day. The fact that we have cold air moving in aloft really increases that instability. That's key, actually. Think about what makes things unstable. When you stack up a pile of books, if you put the biggest one on top and the smallest one on the bottom, it can topple over. It's unstable. And that's what happens in the atmosphere. When you have cooler air aloft, that's unstable. Cooler air is heavier, so that's like that heavier book on top. Anyway, we have unstable situation out there. That leads to thunderstorms, and especially leads to hail when we have that cooler air aloft, which is why we do have the risk of some large hail, again, with that 2-inch size hail or greater that stretches from Sherman, Texas, all the way down through Uvalde and San Antonio. The chance for that big hail again. Saw reports of windshields broken yesterday, a lot of vehicle damage with the hail that we had yesterday. Nothing makes me think it's going to be any different tomorrow, because the same kind of situation out there. We also have that isolated tornado risk with the 3 on the Torcon, and there may be flash flooding because we have heavy rain potential as well. Lynette?
All right, Jen, and if you have any out to be rough out there for sure. So let's start you out as we go in through your tomorrow. So we talked about today. Let's talk about tomorrow. And once again, we're seeing some color on the map, that light pink coloring. So this goes from Port St. Lucie all the way up to Raleigh. So we do have the potential for some strong to severe thunderstorms once again. Definitely need to stay weather aware. Keep your eye to the sky. Let's go ahead and time this out for you. So as we go into Friday morning, we do have some dry areas. Down off towards the south, no, we are going to be dealing in Florida. We will be dealing with some of that wet weather, some thunderstorms as we go into the afternoon. So we're going to have rounds of the wet weather coming in. It looks like we'll be a little bit drier around Columbia, Savannah. At that point, you could see a few thunderstorms firing and popping off. But then late in the evening, we could start to see more of that around Columbia, Wilmington, Raleigh, all getting in on this as well. So it is going to be just a day where if you can just do your plans indoors, you'll be better off. That way you don't actually have to watch the weather. In terms of what's going on your Saturday, more of the same. So we are going to be dealing with the potential for some strong to severe thunderstorms back off towards New Orleans into the panhandle of Florida once again. So the south, you're just not really getting a break. Timing it out once again as we go into your Saturday afternoon, evening, we can see the rain just pressing off from Dallas off to Jackson, Montgomery, Atlanta. You're going to be in the thick of things as well, even as we go into Sunday morning. And then finally the south, you're dry as we go into your Sunday afternoon, evening time frame, and everything's really pushing on up to the north and east. But with all that rain, and I will say this area doesn't necessarily need all the rain at this point, but as we look back off towards the southern plains, that's where we actually do need the rain, but it is going to be coming, and in the panhandle of Florida, that's where we could pick up the most, maybe about 3 to 5 inches. Now let's head over to the west where it's doing a flippity-flop, if you will, Jen.
I mean, the weather is just going to be yuck for the next couple of days. Cold and raw days are on the way for the Midwest. Alliance, Nebraska, we're looking at you. You see these gray clouds hanging over. That's not changing. Covington in Kentucky, looking over at Cincinnati, also expect the rainy, windy, a little chilly out there, and really just all around nasty kind of weather. The kind of weather we describe as miserable. So just let that describe the weather, not you. We got to look for some sunshine in this forecast. There's not going to be a lot of actual sunshine. You're going to have to make your own. We've got rain and more rain along with windy conditions coming our way, plus cooler temperatures. Couple of systems that we got to watch getting into the end of the week. It's just a really busy pattern. It's very full, actually, when it comes to the systems that will be tracking through the eastern half of the country. Now, today, we may see some thunderstorms out there, possibility of some severe weather. We're going to keep an eye on western Nebraska. Mentioned Alliance. It's, watching western Nebraska is just one spot. And we will see some showers building all across this region. Big dip in the jet stream, a trough coming in, the front coming in with it. That actually is what brings in the cooler temperatures that spread and get stuck. Because what happens to this big trough or upper level low it turns into right here, it gets stuck over parts of the Great Lakes, and we're affected by this really through the weekend into at least the middle of next week across the Great Lakes and the Northeast. For us here in the plains, what's going to happen is a little bit of rain, and then we'll get the cooler temperatures in place. For us in the Northeast, we get the rain, and then we get a break, and then we get more rain, and then we get a break, and then we get more, and it's just a very unsettled pattern. You see that on Thursday. First round coming up from the south, second round with that upper level low digging in and just sticking around for the weekend. Look at that into Sunday, into Monday, into Tuesday. Lynette, this is a rinse and repeat kind of pattern.
It is, Jen. So we're definitely going to need to.
On the show, we asked everyone what was their favorite road trip snack since it is National Parks Week, and people might be taking a road trip. What's yours?
Flaming hot Cheetos.
Then your steering wheel's like all full of flaming hot Cheetos. We had so many comments that we want to share. This one from Pat Snack. Well, thank you all for participating in that. That was fun. And break out the road trip snacks. We're going to continue highlighting National Parks Week, showing you some of the best parks for a scenic drive.
Do it for, I might do
you
something.
You would stand out in bad weather for that. Remember back in the day, like having to stand out for tickets, not even just the show itself, having to wait in bad weather for tickets. Up. It's going to stay hot in the west with temperatures steadily climbing above average. So let's look at one of the examples. Phoenix is a good one to show you just how hot it gets this weekend. We haven't hit 100 yet this year. It's a little early, actually, but we are going up there and seeing those temperatures rise about 10 degrees above average. Friday, Saturday, 98 degrees. The average this time of year is upper 80s, maybe near 90. Then we go to 102 on Sunday. Then on Monday, we're still warm, but we're looking at 97 degrees. Let's look at some other spots out there that are going to be heating up, like how about Vegas, where temperatures here are going above average. Saturday, we feel it, 97. Then we go to 98 on Sunday. Monday, we cool down a little bit, but it's still 90, which, you know, is not too far from our average. So the heat is on, and it's a big story. It's part of the reason why Yosemite is closing as we look at that forecast into your Friday, because we've got a flood watch up with the rain, or not the rain, excuse me, with the snow melting. We are looking at that concern for flooding, and that's the reason why they are shutting down the park on Friday. Now, the temperatures are really going to be warming, so we think that melting is going to be accelerated. The reason why this is happening is because we have a big ridge of high pressure. High pressure aloft and at the surface, which is going to mean sunshine and lots of it. Temperatures running about 15 to 25 degrees above average. That builds this weekend down into the southwest, so the heat continues to build. Temperatures soaring above average down there in Arizona, down in Indio, California, where Stagecoach is happening this weekend. It's going to be hot and hot and hot. Now, records could be falling, and we'll have to watch that all the way from Washington, Oregon, down through California, especially in the Central Valley. That continues tomorrow. We'll see that risk for those record high readings coming in. Places like Sacramento going to 92. That would be flirting with a record there within a degree anyway. Bakersfield within coming 1 degree above at 98. The record to beat is 97. Saturday, more records, especially the Central Valley. Going to be some of those hot spots out there. Mid to upper 90s continue. And Phoenix, yes, we've got heat. 102 the forecast on Sunday, and that would tie a record high. Not everyone's going to be this hot, though.
For sure. So let's bring it back in. You can see for April, for the most part, back off towards the west, temperatures were about 5 to 10 degrees cooler than average. And then look back off towards the east, and we had reverse there. Temperatures about 5 to 10 degrees warmer. But we're finally going to start to change this. We're going to have the ridge in the west, what Jen was just talking about. We're going to have more of that trophy feel across the east. Temperatures right now around St. Louis. We're coming in right around 51 degrees. Cincy's at 45, 58 in Nashville, 56 in Atlanta. And as we continue up towards the upper Midwest, we can see what's going on around Detroit, 45 degrees right there. Chi-Town's coming in about 44. And the high temperatures for today, we have some yellows. We'll take this, right? Not too bad. Minneapolis, you're at 67 degrees. St. Louis, look at that, 70 degrees, 71 in Omaha. And then back off towards Pittsburgh, 66 degrees. D.C., you're at 72. But again, change is coming. So as we go towards your tomorrow, we just showed you D.C., that temperature at 59 degrees as we go towards tomorrow. So you start to see the changes as we go in through May 2nd through the 6th. The CPC Climate Prediction Center does have us below average. So that is going to be likely. And then back off towards the west, we have those temperatures that are going to be above average. So this is what we're going to be working with as we go through time out there. A big switch, a big flippity flop for sure for the west and also the east. Jen?
The season is heating up to see some cool art.
Not ending this anytime soon. We actually want to talk about a little bit of the timing of this storminess that we've been seeing. But again, you're talking about the severe thunderstorm warning. We can see this again around Baldwin County and Escambia. This is going to continue to work its way on off to the north and east. This goes until about 8:45 this morning. So here we go with the timing. We do have plenty of red on the map here. When you're looking at those red cells like that, that is some heavy rain, some nasty cells coming in here around 9 o'clock. So again, this morning, this is what we're going to be working with around Mobile, along I-10, 65. You do not want to be on the roadways at this point. This goes until 11 o'clock as well. So it is going to be a rough morning, and then we could see more rounds as we go into the afternoon, too, in some spots. If we stop this at 1 o'clock, we're looking at around Greenville, also around Pensacola, Gulf Shores now getting in on this storminess as well. This slides on off towards the east, and finally around 3 o'clock, you're going to be in the clear back off towards Alabama. So that's some good news. The radar right now pretty active, so make sure you know your plan if something does pop off as we go through the rest of today.
Well, so cool.
Beautiful.
Love the botanical garden.
Yes, and the forecast for today, if you're going, not looking bad. A mix of sun and clouds with that temperature low 70s.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. Well, my pick city today, whether or not I know, don't you want to go? I'm going Sunday.
Oh, nice.
And look at Sunday's forecast. So it's all about, you know, the walk-in, the tailgating that's going to be affecting your weather here. And again, no big umbrellas. Temps on Friday, warm. Saturday, kind of hot,
Saturday,
80 degrees. Yeah, so you're doing fine. Sunday's forecast, a little iffy with those thunderstorms.
It's going to be great nonetheless, though.
The show is going to be great, yeah. But we're asking you in our question.
For me, it would be more like historical type thing. But if it's going to be a performer. It'd have to be a big performer, like Michael Jackson if he was still alive, something like that, you know?
I think the weather, though, can just be so much a part of the story. And I don't mind if it's bad. I mean, I would love good weather for outdoor shows, but then it just becomes the story you tell after the show.
I like the spin you put on that.
Yeah.
All right.
Meteorologist to me.
Exactly. Let's take a look at some active weather right now.
Headquarters to get you through the mid-morning hours.
The Weather Channel is helping you plan for the big events ahead. And, you know, we had the severe weather yesterday. We have it again for today. But I think the biggest thing yesterday with the severe weather is the hail that was over Florida.
We had a total of 76 hail reports, 16 of them with the really big, damaging, significant hail, and about half of them was Florida. We can see actually what it looked like from space. This is from a satellite picture. And those big flare-ups of white, those are the big, tall cumulonimbus clouds building so high in the sky, the ones that support the big hail.
Yeah, and I know maybe some people are thinking like, okay, you guys had hail in Florida, but usually the peninsula doesn't get that large of hail.
So this was really unusual.
Right.
And we're going to do it again today, though. So we'll talk about this Florida forecast. Back to Texas, too, because more hail is possible there. We're also going to be watching the temp changes coming. San Francisco, good morning to you. Oh, that's a little bit of fog out there over the Golden Gate.
Pretty shot, though. Yeah.
Yes. Well, temperatures are going to be heating up in the west, maybe even record-breaking. So we're going to talk about the issues that is causing for us in the west.
Yeah, so we're going to get a little bit of a flippity-flop. So we're going to have more of a ridge out west, the trough out off towards the east. So we'll talk about the stormy times that are going to be taking root for today. So that's today's big deal.